Yeah.
Because I work with people as a life coach and a counselor, and I help them with mind, body, spirit. And so many of them have been on medication for 20, 30 years.
Right.
Depression, Prozac or ADD, anxiety are huge factors in most of my, patients or clients, whatever you want to call them. And how do you work with them?
Well, that's where our U Bodywork plays a very large role. As a student, I was looking into movement systems and what they do to our body. We always talk about mind-body medicine, that the mind affects our body. But I think there's a step before that as well, because everything we think, everything we feel is really chemistry. It's hormones, it's neurotransmitters that are released in our body. So really, it's not mind-body. It starts with body, which affects the mind, which affects the body. So I was looking into movement systems, body systems that we can use to basically stimulate the right combination of neurotransmitters, hormones, and things like that to get the chemical balance back in the brain.
God, I love that. Body, mind, body.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where we develop
It's
what we
true.
call U Bodywork. Yeah. So a lot of it also has to do with good communication. So I'll talk to the patients. I always say real healing can only happen if we're truthful to ourselves. So our U Bodywork talks about the 3 U's. We have the you that you want to be, and that's kind of how we envision ourselves to be, and sometimes we put in a lot of effort and energy to get there, even though it might be unrealistic. And then there's the you that other people see us as and treat us that way, which forces us into a role as well. But in between that, there's the real you. That is the you that we really know in ourselves. Yeah? And sometimes we don't want to admit it, because that's where our weakness is, that's where our jealousy is, that's where all these negative things can be there. There's a lot of positive things there as well. And so real healing, I say, can only happen in the real you. So part of my therapy too is just basically talking to patients and getting them to recognize, who am I really? And I find that is very profound for many patients. Once they get to realize that and get to appreciate themselves and learn to feel themselves and perceive themselves, that's when they're in control of their life.
Yeah, and that's very tricky. That's part of the therapy I do with patients, is really I do something called soul-to-soul therapy instead of mind-to-mind, because I don't think you could, kind of same concept, I don't think you could fix someone mind-to-mind because they're in their ego, they're not into their true you. Who are you really?
Yes.
Once you could get them into who are you really, that's when the tears come, that's when the healing starts to begin. But it's very hard to get someone there. A lot of my patients say, oh, I've been in therapy for years and it's so great to meet you, because it's hard to open up to someone. So I found that with you, when I first met you, you were so open, and you were, I don't know, something about you was easy to communicate with, even though it was a little chaotic because there's so many people there going, I need to talk to Philip, pulling on you, but you still kept the space open to make each person feel important. You said, oh, I'll be with you in a minute, let me finish this up. And so right away I go, oh, I could talk to him, I could trust him.